Very good morning, students. Today's topic is resume writing. So in this particular presentation, we are going to deal with the basic difference between biodata, curriculum vitae, and resume. Because we are focusing only on resume, we are also dealing with different kinds of resume. So quickly, we'll move ahead. Biodata. So biodata is nothing but biographical data. Okay. So actually, in 60s and 70s, we used this particular biographical data to write our details, our credentials, our certificates, everything in that. But now it is mostly used only for the sake of searching, submitting it for arranged marriages, where our complete details of date of birth, gender, religion, race, nationality, etc. are being filled in with this. So these days we are not following biodata for submitting it for a particular job. So biodata is mostly restricted to customized for purpose of marriages. Okay. So curriculum vitae. Curriculum vitae, popularly known as CV, which is a Latin word which means course of life. Now, when I talk about curriculum vitae, it is much more detailed than a resume. Okay, so a curriculum vitae normally varies from 2 to 3 pages, but sometimes it also reaches to 10 to 20 pages. Now, for example, when you're talking about curriculum vitae, you're not talking about the specific details of a candidate. You're talking about each and every detail of a candidate. Okay, so it is very much general. That's why the page limit is also more when you take curriculum vitae into consideration. That's why the meaning is course of life. So there are no limit n number of pages, all the complete details, complete certification, all the skills can be included in curriculum vitae. Okay. Now moving on to resume. Resume has come from a French word which means summary. Now, when I really talk about resume, you need to fill in only those details which are really, targeting to a particular job. It is very much restricted. It should not cross more than 1 or 2 pages. When I really talk about a fresh graduate resume, it should not cross more than 1 page because you don't even have experiences. Okay, so whatever has been related to that specific job, all those details, qualifications, certifications need to be included. The important information which you have to include in resume writing is full name, contact details, experience. Here we are talking about, a person is really experienced, and reverse chronological order. That means from latest to the previous, all the experience we have to include. The same way educational details from latest to previous. Everything in a reverse chronological order we need to add in our resume writing. So in resume, we will not include much about, date of birth, father's name. All those things are very much different. So the basic difference between biodata is only giving the details when they are asked, especially it is being used for arranged marriages, for certain other purposes in government sectors where you need to fill in a particular format. Okay, so it is no longer used for jobs. When you take curriculum vitae, it is very vast, it is very much general, which is very much practiced in foreign countries, whereas in India, we stick to resume, which is very much oriented towards target jobs. So it is very much limited. It should go with that particular job. All your details need to be filled in. Okay, moving ahead. So we are talking about different types of resumes. There are 3 types of resumes: chronological resume, functional resume, and combinational resume. So quickly we'll go into detail about each resume. When I really talk about chronological resume, it is also called as fresh graduate resume. Students, we do have fresh graduate resume only for our syllabus. Okay. So talking about chronological resume, it is one of the most common forms of 3 kinds of resume. When I really talk about resume, when you're writing about your educational qualification or your experience, it should be always reverse chronological order in whatever kind of type of resume we are talking about. So coming to chronological resume, it is one of the most accepted format. Why? Because, I also told you it's a fresh graduate resume. When you really don't have any gaps in your qualification or in your educational qualification, you have to choose chronological resume. So the employer's first choice is chronological resume. That means without any gaps either in experience, that means work experience, or in educational qualification. Okay, so this is the first preference of any particular employer. Moving ahead, functional resume. Now, functional resume is, very, very important, but to only those people who normally have gaps either in their qualification or experience. Now, sometimes, you take a break in your experience, and after 6 months or 7 months, you join into a new company. So you can't attempt a chronological resume in such cases, because a resume is an accurate data. You should not leave any gaps of years when you're really writing about your qualification or experience. So when you really have gaps either in education or in work experience, you're going to choose a functional resume, because looking at the particular format itself, the employer can easily guess that it's a functional resume. So there's a different format where you're going to highlight skills first. Whereas when you come to chronological resume, you're going to highlight your objective, you're going to highlight your educational qualification. But here, when you come to functional resume, you're going to highlight your skills, because you already have gaps in you, either in your qualification or in your experience. So this is not much chosen by any particular employer initially, because it is an indication that you're hiding something. So this should be very, very careful. And any particular candidate is opting a functional resume, you should be very skillful in putting forth all your skills, all your experiences in such a way that you should attract the employer. Okay. The next one is combinational resume. The word combinational resume will, it tells you that it's a combination of both functional and chronological resume. Now, who will opt a combinational resume? A combinational resume is opted by those people who really change from one field to the other field. Now, for example, a person who's having an industrial experience, 15 to 20 years of industrial experience, we keep observing that our faculty, most of our teachers or faculty, whoever teaches you, some of them will come from an industrial background. So from that industrial background, they are moving to another field called teaching field. So a combinational resume is opted by those people who change from one field to the other field. Okay, so what all experiences they have gained in the previous field, they're going to utilize them in this field. So such people will opt for a combinational resume. So minimum experience is 15 to 20 years in a particular field, and that experience should be used in the next field which is being opted by the candidate. So it is not for those students who are really fickle-minded, working 2 years in one particular field and, slowly moving into the other field. So at least 15 years of experience in one field and utilizing that experience, that practical experience, for example, in teaching side. So that's why the students really understand very well by a faculty who come from industrial background. Okay. So these are the three kinds of resumes: functional, chronological, and combinational. So quickly, once again, chronological is also called as a fresh graduate resume. That means without any gaps either in qualification or work experience. So mostly employers' choice is chronological resume. Okay. The second one is functional resume, when you have gaps either in your work experience or in your educational qualification. So you're going to highlight your skills to attract the employer. And the last one is combinational resume, which is being opted by those people who, change from one particular field to the other field. Underline, the previous experience should be utilized in the current field. Okay. I hope you'll go through the PPT once again and share it to you. And we'll have a further discussion about resume in the next class. Thank you.